All right, let's get into it. Today we're cracking a super important genetic concept that you absolutely 100% need to know for your grade 12 life sciences exams, and that is codominance. Okay, so let's start with a bit of a puzzle. You know how in genetics we're always talking about dominant alleles, the ones that totally steal the show and mask the recessive ones, right? But what happens when you have two alleles that are like equally strong? What if neither one backs down? What happens when there's a tie? Well, that exact scenario is what brings us to this really special pattern of inheritance called codominance. And listen, you really need to get this one. Trust me, it's not just some interesting side note, it's pretty much a guaranteed topic in your exams, so let's make sure we nail it. Okay, let's jump right into the official definition. Now, this one on the screen, this is the one you need to learn word for the CAPS curriculum. Seriously, commit it to memory. The key phrase here is that both alleles are equally and fully expressed. They both show up to the party side by side. And this is probably the most important thing to remember. Codominance is absolutely not mixing. It is not blending. It's not like mixing red and white paint to get pink. No way. Instead, you see both original traits, totally separate and distinct. The classic roan cow is the perfect way to picture this. Okay, so imagine you cross a pure red cow with a pure white cow. What do you get? Do you get a pink cow? Absolutely not. A pink cow would be blending. Instead, you get a roan cow. See? It has patches of red fur and patches of white fur. Both alleles are right there doing their thing, fully expressed. Okay, so to really get codominance, it helps a ton to see how it's different from the other types of dominance you've studied. Putting them side by side like this is a classic move in exams, so you'll want to pay close attention here. All right, check out this table. It lays everything out perfectly. You've got complete dominance, right? That's when one allele just completely takes over and hides the other one. Then you have incomplete dominance. That's the blending one. Think red flower plus white flower equals a pink flower. But then there's codominance. This is where both alleles are fully and separately expressed. It's not one winning, it's not blending, it's both of them showing up. Okay, now for the big one, the most important example you're going to see in your exams, for sure. We're talking about the human ABO blood groups. You'll definitely want to know this system inside and out. So what makes this system so cool and a great exam question is that it actually shows us both codominance and complete dominance at the same time. You see, there are three different alleles involved, IA, IB, and little I. Now here's the deal. IA and IB, they're codominant with each other, but both of them are completely dominant over the recessive I allele. It's like a little genetic soap opera. So this table shows you all the possible combos. If you have an IA with a little I, you get blood type A, because the I is recessive, right? Same for IB and little I. You get blood type B. But check out that third line down. When you have the genotype IA-IB, something special happens. Since they're codominant, neither one wins. Both are fully expressed, and that's how we get the unique AB blood group. And this right here, this is the golden ticket answer for your exams. If they ask why AB blood group is an example of codominance, this is what you write. It's because the allele for A produces A antigens, and the allele for B produces B antigens. In a person with AB blood, their red blood cells have both A and B antigens on the surface. Neither one dominates the other. They're both just there. Okay, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and actually put this into practice. We're going to walk through a typical genetic cross problem, step by step, exactly how you should do it in an exam. So here's our problem. We've got a person with blood group A, but their genotype is heterozygous. That's IA, little I. And they have a child with a person who has blood group B, also heterozygous. So IB, little I. The question is, what are all the possible blood types their kids could have? Now, before we even start, look at these 4 steps. If you follow this structure every single time, you're going to lay out your answer perfectly for the exam. This is the recipe for getting full marks, because it's exactly what the examiners want to see. All right, let's do this. Step 1, identify the gametes. So the first parent, IA little I, can make 2 types of gametes, one with the IA allele and one with the little I. The second parent, IB little I, can also make 2 types, IB and little I. Great. Step 2, we draw our Punnett square. We'll pop one parent's gametes on the top, the others on the side, and now we just fill in the boxes. And here are our results. This is so cool. If we look at the 4 squares, we have 4 possible genotypes, and that gives us 4 different phenotypes. You've got a 25% chance of type A from the IAIB genotype, a 25% chance of type A from IA, a 25% chance of type B from IB, and a 25% chance of type O from the 2 little i's. How amazing is that? All 4 blood types are possible from these 2 parents. Okay, to finish up and make sure you walk into that exam feeling confident, let's quickly cover the most common mistakes people make with codominance. If you know what to look out for, you can avoid these easy traps. Right, let's go through these. Number 1 mistake, saying it's mixing or blending. Don't do it, that's incomplete dominance. Mistake number 2, confusing the 2 terms. Remember, codominance is like coworkers. They both show up. Incomplete is like a smoothie. It blends. Also a big one, people forget to use the proper IAIB little I notation. You have to use it. And finally, don't just say it's codominant. Explain why, because both traits show up. So here's your final exam checklist for this topic. 1. Memorize that definition, word for word. 2. Practice Punnett squares for blood groups until you can do them in your sleep. 3. If the question asks for ratios, give both the genotypic and phenotypic ratios. Don't lose easy marks. And 4. Clearly explain the link. How do the alleles lead to the final phenotype? If you can take all these boxes, you are golden. So, after all that, what's the one thing you absolutely have to remember? It's this. In codominance, both show up. That's it. It's not a competition, it's cooperation. Both alleles get to shine, nothing gets hidden, and absolutely nothing gets blended. And just like that, you've cracked the code.